Hello, Watem here, and welcome back to some more Umineko When Seagulls Cry. I noticed as I loaded in that this chapter is called The Suspect, so let's see how this goes out. That sentence didn't make sense together, but oh well. Rose and the rest returned from the chapel to the parlour of the mansion. So many things had happened since early in the morning. Of course, they were high-strung. Bachelor and George, who had cried, raged, and let their emotions explode after seeing their parents' tragic bodies, returned to the parlour and sat on the sofas, dazed as though everything up until then had been a lie. Only Maria was completely unchanged and looked just like normal. When she wasn't playing pranks, she was basically a kid who played wordlessly by herself. So even if she was dazed, she would probably look just as she did. But as she turned on the TV and flipped through the channels, it looked as though nothing about her had changed from normal. Did Rosa think anything in particular about this attitude, which is clearly different from normal people? I feel like I was going to make I'd thought of something in between this part and the last part. I remember thinking something about assuming people, yeah, the only assumptions we can make are that people will either work for their own benefit or for the benefit of their faction, whatever the faction may be. So, I had made conclusions at the time and I've forgotten them now. I really should just have a notebook with me on at all times so I can write things down. Yeah, and so in cases where there's limited number of people with the information, then you cannot trust it. I think I was thinking about points of views. What points of views can we actually trust as being trustable information? I think I mentioned last time how I can't say for certain that that's how Canon and Jessica died. In any case, they're probably going to find that soon. Another thing, I was wondering, Maria could technically have been in on the plan to switch the envelopes as well, which also could have messed with the whole red text possibilities. Anyway, did Rosa think anything in particular about this attitude, which was clearly different from normal people? She stared at Maria's back as though looking at something that wasn't quite heartwarming. Eventually, Kumasawa came to say good morning. Her cheerful manner was clearly out of place, and she couldn't help but be bewildered by the strange atmosphere of the room. Then, when she heard the details from Koda, she reacted loudly with shock.
もちろん警察には連絡したんですよね。
Oh dear, it slipped my mind.
こういう時はどうすればいいんでしょう。おお、どうすればいいんでしょう。
落ち着いて聞いてください。どうも昨夜の落雷で何かの機械がやられたようなのです。
Thinking about not being able to trust people, if it wasn't for Goda doing it this time, that definitely would have been another point. We're basically trusting that Genji was telling the truth and the phones weren't working. Although I can't remember. At the end of the first episode, did Natsui try to call outside of the island as well after getting the phone call from the this place? I've forgotten what the room it is. Yeah, can we trust that the phone lines are actually down? That's one question.
それで電話が使えなくなっておりまして。
So, the fact that Gilda's saying it this time, helps imply that, what was it? That, the phones are in fact down?
じゃあ台風が過ぎるまで警察にも連絡できないんですか？
Maybe Kumasawa's exaggerated surprise was a little comical. Even in this kind of situation, Rosa giggled. Because of that, the fog of confusion that had covered her head cleared up a little.
私がしっかりしなきゃ。マリアだけじゃない。
Yes, even though Maria is reveling in all of this.
ジョージ君もバタラ君も今は私が親代わりなんだからしっかりしなきゃいけない。
But you're not acting as a parent for Jessica, are you? Hmm? Oh, yeah, this time none of the servants got hit. Oh, until I guess Cannon did with Jessica. Rosa had been the younger sibling, with a large difference in age between her and the others. So, she'd always been treated as a child. Every time she learned something new, it was something obvious to her siblings, and she'd built up a complex, becoming convinced of her own incompetence. So, she developed a passive personality, asking her siblings for advice every time something happened. But she no longer had any brothers or sisters. Now, Rose was the only one of the 4 Ushiromiya siblings left. Furthermore, if Kinzo continued to shut himself away even in this extraordinary situation, Rosa would have to surpass this crisis as the head's representative.
私はもう子供じゃない。子供じゃない。
Rosa slapped her knee slightly and stood up. She must not wait for orders now. She had to start moving herself. She picked up the receiver of the extension phone on the side table. Then, she immediately remembered that the phones were down. You're not going to try it? Genji and Shannon, whom she'd sent to see Kinzo, hadn't returned yet. She had a good guess at what was going on. He was probably yelling something nonsensical again, and becoming unmanageable. Oh, Kinzo, right. I'd been thinking of Genji and Shannon, like, what? Genji screaming and being unmanageable? His precious chapel had been defiled with blood, but graced with a witch's presence. That was easy to imagine. She planned on using the extension phone to call the study, but unfortunately their phones were down. Rosa decided to go to the study directly, with her own 2 feet. Her old self would have been too frightened to go see Kinzo. And in fact, if she did meet him, she would probably be blamed somehow and insulted. There was just no time to be frightened. As his true daughter, she had to make him aware of the current situation. As his true daughter implies the existence of a false daughter. I guess they could be talking about Beatrice, but
熊沢さん、私はお父様のところへ行ってきます。特にジョージ君とバタラ君の2人をお願いします。きっとだいぶ神経が参ってると思うの。
I want to see how battle is going on right now.
ええ
Because it seems that battle doesn't actually care who the murderer is as long as he proves that it isn't a witch.
それはそうでございましょうとも。本当にお気の毒なことです。何か温かい飲み物でも作ってあげることにいたします。
ありがとう。
Rosa went out into the hallway and headed towards Kinzo's study. The atmosphere of this mansion, which she'd spent her younger days in, should have been full of memories. It seemed somehow different. She began to climb the stairs in the entrance hall. Just then, in the faint darkness down the stairs behind Rosa's back, something glowed. That would be the incinerator room, right? Never mind. It was a single fluttering gold butterfly. It fluttered around and sparkled. That butterfly danced about without a sound. It was only natural. No one can hear the sound of the butterfly's wings beating. And then it came to a rest on Rosa's back as she slowly climbed the stairs. Not at all frightening. Oh, Rosa didn't notice it. Oh? If someone not in the know saw it, they'd probably assume it was just a single sheet of gold leaf in the shape of a butterfly that had been stuck there. Is it trying to get past Kinzo's barrier? Without noticing a thing, Rosa continued heading towards Kinzo's study. Or just what we're being led to believe.
さーて、次はどう遊ばせてもらおうか。
So this is the next... Because, yeah, in the first episode, you had the sealed room with the study, with Kinzo disappearing. Does that mean that Kinzo's not in his study by this point, perhaps?
まだまだ駒はいくらでもある。
In which case, if Kinzo isn't in his study by the time she gets there, I don't think that Beatrice has done anything then. This would have already been the case. He isn't in his study. In the parlour, which had fallen silent again, the only sound was that of the TV that Maria was watching alone. If there was anything audible besides that, it was the sound of the rain, which had continued on and on since the previous night. Every one of those who had witnessed that unearthly and horrible scene stayed silent, as though praying that the events of that morning had all been a dream. Maybe it was a Halloween prank. Because Kumasawa alone hadn't seen it, her reaction was slightly different. The silence itself seemed more unbearable to her, and she was anxious to encourage everyone somehow. However, she was aware that she must avoid saying anything careless, and she seemed to be pondering how she could be most helpful. Normally, it would be time for breakfast. However, possibly because something so outrageous had happened, Goda seemed to have forgotten to prepare a meal. Goda and Shannon went to Kinzo, so perhaps they are already, all the three of them are already dead? Maybe everyone was so beaten up they'd forgotten their hunger. Kumasawa wanted to bring up the subject of what they should do for breakfast, but it didn't seem like the right atmosphere, so she really couldn't. But she really was hungry. So, she casually made a proposal.
皆さんもいろいろあってお疲れでしょ。こういう時は温かい紅茶で体を温めるのが一番ですよ。
それはいい提案ですな。私も賛成です。
美味しい紅茶にジャムを塗ったビスケットなどいかがですか。そうそう、ハロウィンの時期が近いみたいで、かぼちゃ型の美味しそうなクッキーが棚にありました。
熊沢さん、それは。
Of course, she had said the wrong thing. She reminded Battler of the rest about that horrible and tragic Halloween party in the chapel. How could she know, though, to be fair? Now Joe hurriedly whispered into Kumasawa's ear.
バトラさん、本当にすみません。悪気はなかったんですよ。
いや、気にしてねえぜ。この煮えくり返るような怒りは絶対犯人にお返ししてやるぜ。
その犯人はまだこの島にいるのかな。
いるだろうな。何しろ台風が過ぎるまで船は来ないんだ。
Doesn't mean that they won't technically throw themselves into the waves. It's a possibility, I guess, technically. However unlikely.
ええ、そうですとも。船はちょっとの風でも欠航しますからね。ましてや台風では絶対に船になんか乗れませんよ。
気持ち悪いな。
兄貴もそう思うのか。俺もだぜ。犯人が例の謎の来客かどうかは捨ておいてもだ。
そうですな。
No one gonna be thinking about how, well, Jessica and, Cannon haven't reappeared?
私たちはついついベアトリーチェを名乗る謎の来客を怪しがってしまいますが、まだ犯人と決まったわけではありません。彼女がまだ死体の出ていない犠牲者である可能性も残っている。
Yeah.
それを考えるとどうしても理解できないことがあるんだ。
それはどういうことでしょうか。
簡単さ。
Why reveal himself?
さっき熊沢のばあちゃんの言った通りだよ。この島は今台風の真っ只中で脱出不能だ。それは犯人だって同じさ。なら犯人にとって犯行発覚は可能なら最も避けたいことのはずだ。
Obviously, you take the second approach to stealth. Kill everyone.
そうですね。礼拝堂の入り口にあんな不気味な魔法陣を書いて、ここに死体がありますなどとアピールする必要はありませんね。
And if your aim for stealth is to kill everyone, I guess drawing them all together would make that more efficient, much easier than having them all hide separately.
そうさ、そういうことなんだ。さらに言えば、あの6人にあんなむごたらしいことをするだけの手間をかけられたなら、6人の死体を発見不能な場所に隠すことだって可能だったはず。
同感だね。あの残酷なハロウィンパーティーは多分死んだ人たちに向けられたものじゃない。
But rather at those who still live.
やがて発見する僕たちへ向けたものなんだよ。魔法陣はそのためのアピールだと言い切れるだろうね。
犯人はこの島からしばらく逃げられないことを知っている。にもかかわらず台風の真っ最中に死体を見つけさせたいような真似をした。こりゃどういうことなんだ。俺が犯人だったなら死体を見つけさせるような真似は絶対にしないんだが。
ベアトリーチェ様はお部屋におられませんでした。特に部屋が荒らされていた様子もありませんし。
I mean, it's some of the servants that are saying that she was in that room. Her existence is likely confirmed, because you've had several different parties corroborate her existence. Some of them being dead, so that. I was going to say it's unlikely to be in the same faction then. However, on the other hand, it seems like the first six are. But we've also discussed previously that the first six cannot be completely random. So, yeah, so because, main reason I'm bringing up that, what's her name? Kyrie was killed, so unlikely to be in the same faction as the killer, and therefore her information is more likely to be correct. Who knows?
ああ、いえ、お嬢様がだいぶ荒らしてしまいましたが。
そういや、ジェシカは？
カノンさんが様子を見てくれています。多分、お嬢様のお部屋におられるでしょ
う。よくないね。
As in, culprit could attack them next.
犯人は間違いなくまだこの島にいる。
Oh, too late.
今の状況下で少人数で孤立することはそれほどいいことだとは思わない。
それはどういう意味ですか？まさか犯人は私たち全員を殺すつもりだとおっしゃるんですか？
落ち着きましょう。まだそうと決まったわけではありません。
However, better to plan for it, and you are probably more likely to believe it when you find the other two dead as well.
ところが悔しいことに、その可能性も否定できねえんだよな。
I am wondering if we can trust any point of view apart from Battlers. The fact that which side Battler talked about Rosa seeing Beatrice, maybe that's one we can trust. That might only be on a case-by-case basis if which side Battler is discussing those events directly. We probably can trust whatever which side Battler sees as having happened. Maybe. Then again, maybe not. I was going somewhere with my thoughts. Right, and so because we can probably trust Battler's point of view, we know that let's see, 1, 2, 3. That might be it. Yeah, and Nanjo aren't involved in. Oh, actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people aren't involved in the death of Jessica and Cannon. But we don't have an alibi for Commissar. Gordo was sent back then by himself, so no alibi there. Shannon and Genji together. They'd be confirming for each other, however they are currently unknown. Beatrice unknown, Kinzo unknown.
この手紙が礼拝堂にあった。これによるならば、犯人は魔女様で、 じい様の碑文の謎を解いて黄金を見つけなきゃ一族老頭を皆殺しにするみてえなことを言っている。
それは本当ですか？私にも読ませていただいてよろしいですか？
As I read the witch's letter, Gorda, Commissar, and Nandra's faces grew even paler than they had been. Commissar could no longer hide her shaking. Actually, thinking about it, who knows if we can actually even trust Battler's point of view. Thinking of was it Linvo and Nun, I think, is from the murderer's point of view, and he's conveniently hiding facts. There's I think it's Chaos Head or Chaos Child, where the protagonist is conveniently hiding facts as well. I think it might have been Chaos Head. Yeah. And Shutter Island, the protagonist is unaware of their own condition. Those are the ones which I can think of off the top of my head at least. Kumasawa could no longer hide her shaking. Not sure if I said that already.
死にたくなかったらじい様の隠し黄金を見つけてみろか。
So from the last episode, we know that the gold's existence is quite likely. Although, again, uncertain if we can trust that point of view section.
ふざけやがって。てめえじゃ解けない謎だから俺たちに解かせようって腹に決まってるぜ。
しかし実際のところはどうなんでしょう。奥様は常々黄金伝説は親方様が作られた幻想に過ぎないと言い切られておりました。本当に実在するものなのかは怪しいところですよ。
Reminder of a yes minister. Don't believe in anything until it's been officially denied by the government.
そうですな。あったらいいなとは思いつつ半信半疑だったはずです。親族の皆さんが黄金伝説を信じ始めたのは金蔵さんが健康を崩して遺産問題が浮上してからです。それまでは信じている人はほとんどいなかったと思います。
そうか、それでかな。覚えてるかい？礼拝堂のテーブルの上。
Oh yeah, there was gold chocolate.
黄金のインゴットが3つあったね。あれだけでも相当の価値があるよ。
Oh wait, yeah, they were the real ones. Okay.
あれはまさに黄金伝説は実在することを証明してるんじゃないかな。
お待ちください。今黄金が3つとおっしゃいましたか？
ああ、確かに3つが積み上げてあったぜ。それが何だってんだ？
Is that how many were shown to the public, I guess?
私旦那様がお話になっているのを聞いたことがあるんです。ええ、聞いただけでございますよ。
Pure coincidence that you heard it. Yeah, yeah. We understand, of course, yeah.
別にこっそりお話に聞き耳を立てていたわけではございませんとも。ええ。
You would never do that, would you, Kumasawa?
今は気にしないぜ。それで何だってんだ？あの金塊が3つじゃ何かまずいってのか？
ええ。旦那様がおっしゃるには黄金伝説を裏付ける黄金は一つしか見つかっていないのだそうです。
そうでしたな。
What? They're saying that there was one found to support the evidence. Definitely doesn't seem to match what our understanding of was last episode. Because yes, there was only one found, but that was locked, and not even Natsuhi knew about that. So the fact that all the servants know, and then Genji knows. I mean, Nanjun knows. What is going on here?
確か金蔵さんがマルソーの会長さんに黄金の山を見せて、その一本を持ち帰らせたというような話だったはずです。
Right, yeah. Okay, so I was thinking that there were 3 taken there, but I guess, yeah, 1 then.
その一つをですね、旦那様はお持ちになられていたのです。
Never mind, they do know of it. Something is going on here.
そしてこうもおっしゃっておりました。親方様の黄金伝説を裏付ける黄金はこれ一つしかないとも。
That sounds suspiciously specific.
旦那様ってクラウスおじさんの話だよな。ってことはなんだ？じゃなくて3つ？
Notice also how conveniently Kraus has died the first night twice now.
おいおい、どこから出てきたんだよ。多すぎるぜ。
Yeah, there's definitely something going on here. Not sure what it is yet, but I am thinking that Commissar belongs to some faction or another in this. Potentially Nanjo as well. Not sure what the faction is though. But there's a couple of possibilities for Commissar at least. Could be on the witch's side, because from what we saw of her in the kitchen in the first episode. But also could be something to do with Kraus. So yeah, Kraus has information that he's keeping from everyone else. So yeah, Kraus might have a faction. Might be why he's removed him the first night. There's probably a Kinzo faction, maybe. The servants could belong to several factions, really. They might even belong to several factions at once, even. But then you've got people like Bachelor who don't belong to any faction, from what we can tell at least. So yeah, basically people who don't have knowledge, and don't have knowledge of who's in their faction as well. Well, I'd say, yeah, aren't in the faction. Anyway, yeah, I think I'll leave it there for today. This is just giving us more questions. I was also hoping that they'd figure out about Canon and Jessica in this part, but well. In case I hope you've all enjoyed, let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.